We are live. Aaron Whitlow with
Greg Williams.
there you go. With the Markout Movie Podcast. And on this episode, this is the 100th episode of the podcast. And Craig chose this film, and boy, what a doozy did he choose.
Emphasis on the word do.
Yeah, yeah.
DOO.
That is yeah, seriously. We are doing the Fanatic. Was 2019 film by Fred Durst. Sounds weird saying. Uh,
Yeah, that's right.
Starring Devin Sawa and John Travolta.
Oh, so
Nobody else matters in this movie.
you build Devin Sawa over John Travolta in this movie, huh?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think part of me wants to, because I'm more of a Devin person than I am a John person. Although, man, Devin has not aged well.
No, he hasn't.
My goodness, Devin looks like he has totally like hit them drugs, man.
He looks okay. I mean, he looks all right, but I mean, like he looks also like a mad dad. Like you know what I mean? Like he's got sort of that mad dad look. I feel like he is like like a pair of sunglasses away from filming an alt-right rant in his truck. Like,
oh yeah. Like he's totally like looks like the dude that like would yell at you, but with the sunglasses up here. Like, listen to me, buddy. You know, you know that guy.
Yeah,
that's that's what he comes across. Just wow. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get into. I hadn't looked up the stuff. Let me go ahead and play a little bit of a trailer.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Dunbar. Is Hunter Dunbar here tonight?
That's enough.
I need to get an autograph. Don't let him do this to me. I'm a fan. I'm a #1 fan. Is it difficult to find famous people's houses?
I use my Star Map app. You have to be careful. I don't want you to be accused of stalking.
Hey, you can't just come to my private residence looking for me. Listen, pal, I don't know how you found me, but I don't ever want to see you in this neighborhood again.
I just wanted an autograph.
Wait! Out of your mind.
So
watching that trailer makes me laugh all over again because I'm like, wow, they so wanted this to be a serious thriller or horror movie, and it really, really isn't.
yeah, they totally. And then also, if you look at the not the trailer, not just the trailer, but the poster for the movie. The poster is so misleading. All right, so it shows John Travolta, and it has a bloody knife in his hand, and it has and it has he's like wearing a suit. You can tell he's wearing a jacket and and a suit. It's just like not the same movie.
No.
And also, there's so much wrong with this movie. Where can I start?
Let me
start.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me start with the fact that this movie decided to have a 90s type of, what can I say? It's a 90s type of narration. The late 90s, early 2000 movies had that narration, like, for example, Underworld has like, she's narrating, the lichens rose, and then, we Nightwalkers decided to take over the city, and da da da. This movie has that, but it's like pointless. It's just
it's really so that's the first bad thing, and every like script teacher, every screenplay teacher will tell you that the first mistake to make while writing a script is having voiceover narration. And the reason for that is because I think voiceover narration can sometimes work, but I think also it is a weakness in the writing and the writers. It kind of betrays the writer's inability to show, don't tell. Like they don't trust the audience to understand what's going on or understand like what the movie's about, and so they feel the need to have a character tell us what it's about and what's going on. And often you'll have a movie with a voiceover narration that was added in post because like the studio would request it for that exact reason. They're like, if we don't have someone such and such explaining what's happening all the time, no one's going to get this. And so it really is sort of like kind of like the movie's way of holding your hand. And very few movies I feel pull it off unless I think it only works if the main character is narrating the movie, and it's sort of like they're telling the story. So they're not so much explaining what's happening in the movie so much as like, this is my point of view of the movie.
Yeah, it works in like so for instance, it works in like noir films where like say the character does have to, except for Blade Runner, it did not work for that. But it works in mostly noir type of films where you would just you know the mean streets of LA, where crime rises and fame dashes you against the stone, something like that. Or it works in movies like for instance, Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie. It works because it's from her, like you said, her perspective, and she's not really a sound narrator.
Yeah,
it's mentally crazy, but yeah, it worked though. It worked in that aspect.
It famously works really well in that movie Sunset Boulevard, because the movie begins with showing the main character drowned in a pool, and so it's the main character basically like kind of like, how did I get to this point? Let me show you how. Or let me tell you how. So it's like a dead man's tale, I guess, of how he ended up in that position. So I mean, it can work if it's artfully worked, but like I think most famous, the most famous example of how generally bad it's considered to be is from the movie Adaptation, which the narration in that movie is good, but they famously had a scene where he goes to a screenwriting class, and like while his voiceover narration is happening, the screenwriting teacher interrupts it by saying like, don't have voiceover narration in your screenwriting. So it's like the movie's almost like commenting on itself at that point for having that. I kind of feel like anyone in the movie industry or writing, once they've seen that movie, I would hope to God that they would think that they would immediately not use voiceover narration in whatever script they're writing. But yeah, it's a common mistake, not just using narration, but just when you're writing a script for the first time to get into that. People do this with dialogue too. Over explanation, doing too much like telling and not enough showing. Like you got to remember, it's a visual medium. You don't need to have everyone explain what's happening.
Yeah, like over exposit. You know the word. You know the word. I'm not gonna.
You're right.
But yeah, this not only did this movie have that going on for it. All right, so this movie, it doesn't actually sew together a good like narrative. Like there's times in this film where you don't know exactly when things has happened. Like so John Travolta in this movie. Let me go ahead and before I go to that, let me go ahead and say this. This movie has gotten 4.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah.
Metacritic gives it 18%.
Mhm.
54% of Google users like this movie, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it 16%. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention it.
yeah, I'd say that's about right. It's funny. I literally watched a review of this movie around the time it came out, just talking about how bad it was. And I think the same day, my mom texted me and she was like, "You know a good movie I watched recently? The Fanatic." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Are you?" She's like, "No, it's so good." I'm like, "Mom, how could you like that movie?" She's just
Yeah, that's great though.
uh,
But yes, thing. But people like things that other people like. For instance, I'm famously a fan of Pauly Shore movies. They're terrible, but I love them. This movie though, this is not that. This movie, so there's a scene in this film where like John Travolta's character, who's the fanatic, who is I think you mentioned this. He is I don't know if he's autistic or something. He's just very like the first line of this movie is, "I can't stay here long. I gotta go poop." So this is the first
yeah.
dialogue.
Yes.
That's how
This
this
is
movie
the
opens.
first line of dialogue. Yeah, not counting the voiceover narration. This is the first line of dialogue in the entire movie, and it's John Travolta's character saying, "I can't talk long. I've got to poo," or something like that.
Yeah,
And I felt like that perfectly set the tone for what kind of like how this movie, like the mental level of this movie. And like you mentioned how he's autistic, the movie doesn't make that very clear. That's part of the charm of this movie, I think. Like, and by charm I mean the incompetence, like the incompetent, how incompetent this movie is. But like the part of the charm is that like the movie, so Fred Durst wrote and directed this movie, and if for anyone who's watching who doesn't know who that is, it's the lead singer of Corn, or not Corn, Limp Bizkit, close enough.
close. Same
uh
same building, different apartment.
yeah, that's that band that your uncle like really likes, and insists it's good music and you don't understand why. So like he wrote and directed this, and like I feel like John Travolta's, because I feel like we should cover this right off the bat because this is a big part of the movie. Whatever is going on with his character, they don't ever really clarify it, because I don't think Fred Durst understands what autism is, or what a mentally handicapped person is, and what the difference is between the two.
Right.
And so the movie kind of tries to imply at some point that what's going on with John Travolta's character might be some sort of tied to some sort of childhood trauma involving his mother having sex with several suitors while he's in the room. Like, remember that little flashback?
Right. Yeah. It reminded me of Dream On, but yes, it did.
Yeah, it reminded me of that too. Actually, when she was like, "Here, honey, watch the movie," and like he's just like staring at the screen while, yeah,
In
I
my
was
mind,
thinking,
I immediately thought, do 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 do.
but like the kid, whoever the actor was that played the younger version of him, like he didn't do anything or say like anything to sort of like imply that he has always had this condition, which I figured you would, like if you were trying to establish that he's always been this way, you would have that child actor, also, exhibit some of the stuff he does as an adult, like how he like rocks back and forth all the time and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You would think that child actor would do that, but no, he seems perfectly.
Normal,
I don't
just
want
a
to say
kid.
normal, but I want to say like at average, I guess. Just like a person of average intelligence, and somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. Like, and so my long rant is, the point of my long rant is the movie seems to imply that him being exposed to his mother being
Promiscuous.
has made him mentally handicapped.
I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess.
That's the implication. That's what the movie is implying.
This is what Fred Durst did. He just literally said, "Hey, he stopped at a convenience store to get him a Mountain Dew, or maybe a Red Bull or something. He probably is a Red Bull guy, and so he probably got one of those. Probably got him some Doritos, and he was eating, and he seen some kid there, and he's like, "Hey, kid, you want to be in a movie?"
Yeah,
and the kid was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah,
he's like, all you gotta do is sit here and watch TV, and that's it. Because the kid didn't act. The kid just literally was like, "I'm watching TV." I'm surprised he didn't literally say, "I'm watching TV."
It was probably his nephew or something. Yeah. So that's yeah. It's we don't know what's wrong with
Moose.
What's wrong with Moose is his name. Yeah, well, that's another thing. There's just so much to unpack with this movie. Sorry, like God.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we start a conversation about one thing and then we realize, oh God, there's a whole other thing to talk about. But yeah, his character's name is Moose.
Yeah, and there's no rhyme or reason or even explanation. When you want to give explanation, explain at least that. Why are we calling you Moose? You know, were you a big fan of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and or what? What is it? But no, his name is Moose, and we just are told to go with it.
His name is Moose because Fred Durst was trying to think of a name, and he was like, "That sounds like the name of a simpleton." That's kind of like that's what happened. Like he was just like, he's a dumb character, so we're gonna name him Moose. And I'm like,
Moose. You good, dog? Okay. He's like, yeah, he doesn't like Fred Durst, but
I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. Sorry, keep talking. Let me right back.
That's all right. I'm gonna keep talking too. I should have grabbed me a bottle of water. Maybe I'll tag out and grab one when you come back. But anyway, yeah. There's Moose, and Moose has a photographer friend. So first, Moose ends up at this comic book store with the comic book guy, essentially from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be busy tonight. I'm gonna go to this I was invited to a party, and I'm just gonna call him Devin Sawa. Devin Sawa is gonna be there. It's gonna
Hunter.
be great.
His name is Hunter. Fuck, I forgot his last name, but his first name is Hunter. And like the movie even starts with a quote from him, which is like, you don't do that.
Is that what that was? I was like, who's Hunter? And I thought that. I was like, who's Hunter? Who's this?
Yeah.
Who's this quote?
It's the quote from the movie. It's something he says later in the movie. And I'm like, you don't start a movie with a quote by your own character later in the movie.
Hunter Dunbar.
Yeah.
And then Leah is the girl, the friend. Leah. Because that's how Travolta says her name. Leah. I ain't gonna be friends with you. I ain't gonna BBF no more, Leah. But anyway.
And the voice that Aaron is using, by the way, I just want to let people know he's not being insensitive. That's basically what Travolta sounds like. So he's not doing a yeah.
Watch the movie. It is on Prime. But so he says, I'm gonna be going to this party and I'm gonna meet Hunter Dunbar. He's gonna be there. He's my favorite. Like essentially selling Hunter. And the guy's like, oh, I got Hunter coming in sometime this week to do a book signing. He's like, oh, really? Oh, can you get me in? And then like he buys like this vest from the movie Vampire Warriors. Yeah, I remember the name of the movie now, Vampire Warriors. I think at one point it was called Vampire Space Warriors. They mentioned that, but then they just start referring to it as Vampire Warriors. But anyway, Hunter essentially is. Let me get you an equivalent of who Hunter would be. I guess he would be more like a. Okay. He would be like Corey Feldman, someone that was really famous in the '80s and stuff like that. That is not now,
Mm-hmm.
or quasi famous now, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair comparison. I was gonna say he's like a jerky version of Bruce Campbell or something. Like he's got his own niche fandom, but he's like unlike Bruce, who actually is very cool and cultivates that fandom. Like this Hunter Dunbar character is. Let's go ahead and explain before we go further into the movie. Hunter Dunbar, Devon Sawa's character, is the biggest. Can I curse on this? By the way,
Go right
all right.
ahead.
He is the biggest asshole in the world of assholes. Like that's part of what's funny about this movie. It's like his character is so unrelenting, like is such an unrelenting dickhead. Like this movie, the whole inciting incident of this movie, like the whole plot, um, is completely dependent
Keep
on
going.
is completely dependent on Hunter Dunbar being a jerk for no reason. Because the whole reason, the whole reason John Travolta's character Moose starts stalking him and stuff is because Hunter Dunbar won't sign his vest. Like like Moose goes to like this autograph signing with Hunter Dunbar, and Hunter has to ends up leaving early because his girlfriend shows up or his ex-wife or something shows
Ex-wife.
up. His ex-wife shows up and makes him mad, and so he ends up leaving early. And like John Travolta, it tries to stop him to get his vest signed, but he won't do it. And then like even when John Travolta's outside of his house, which I mean, yeah, I admit, yeah, obviously that's crossing a line and creepy. But I'm like, you just want to be like yell, you just want to like scream at this character, like just sign his stupid thing and he'll go away. You know what I mean? Like instead of being a jerk. I mean, and the thing is too, obviously something is up with Moose. Like you can't look at this guy and think that obviously he's got some sort of mental thing going on. And so you'd think Hunter Dunbar's character is like observant enough to realize, oh, this guy's not really all there.
No, because Fred Durst
know better. He doesn't know better.
Durst isn't. That's the reason. Because Fred Durst isn't that intuitive to realize, like somebody dealing with anyone that has any, and I'm not knocking or talking or bashing anyone, but anyone dealing with anyone that has any type of issue or circumstance can pick up on those things and know how to then, I guess, be in that conversation and in that moment, in that situation. You know what I mean? You know how to approach it and be like, oh yeah, hey man, thanks. Like, so what should have happened, this is what should have happened, and there would have been no movie. But thank you that this didn't happen, so we had this movie. But anyway, what should have happened was Hunter Dunbar, who came out to see his baby mama, and was mad that she's like, well, you need to take your kid, and he's like, well, this ain't the place for a kid. And then like Boost comes out and is like, hey Hunter, I was in line, you're supposed to sign my autograph, I'm sorry, and then like he oh man, hey, I'm sorry, I'll be with you in just a moment, deal with this with your girl. When she leaves, say, I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't get to sign your here, let me go ahead and do it now, thank you, whatever, take a picture or whatever, it's cool, thank you, end of the movie. He's happy camper, go on with your life. But because you slighted this man, a whole movie is venture on him getting the autograph.
And it's like it's one of those really like bad writing situations where the plot is all dependent on characters not communicating to each other. So it's like, whereas in real life this would have been sorted out in the alley after after his wife left, and Hunter Dunbar realizes that Moose is a special needs. That's the word I was looking for. It's like obviously a special needs situation. He would have like been like, even though he might be mad and wants to leave and cut the thing off, I think any person, any decent human being, even an asshole celebrity, would know better and would be like, okay, here, let me let me just sign this thing for you real quick. Okay. Because he can obviously tell that this guy is a special needs case,
Yeah.
and like, and wouldn't probably understand, why he's, cutting the event short, it's like, so like, and doesn't understand that showing up at the front door of his house is inappropriate. Like,
Doesn't know the boundaries. Yeah, doesn't
it's
understand boundaries.
he's got to understand, like, he's sort of like a child, and like Hunter Dunbar's character, like when he yells at him and like threatens him, instead of just signing a thing, it's like he's yelling at a child. You know what I mean?
There is so much to unpack in this movie
Yeah,
because there is scenes in this movie where I think Fred Durst wanted you to feel fearful of Moose, like Moose being a fearful type of character. But the whole
yeah,
movie, I felt more sympathetic towards him. I'm
I
like,
did too.
I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm like there's things that happen, and you're like, no, just leave the guy, no, because you're like, oh no, we're this is spoilers by the way,
yeah,
but yeah, but before we get there, because the first big occurrence that we see with him is when he snuck into that party,
yeah.
uh, and Hunter was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. But another lady was there that I guess was a co-star of Hunter in a different movie.
Mhm.
But and she was cordial to him, and
She
uh,
treated him like Hunter should have. Yeah, she
yeah,
understood.
absolutely,
You could tell by the way the actress was delivering her lines that she understood that Moose was a special needs situation, and so she was more patient and was like more like, oh, thank you, oh, I appreciate that. She was sort of like, I guess like trying
um,
to.
I'm trying to think of the word, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, yeah. She was. I don't want to say humoring him, but like, she was like, she understood that how to talk to him, I guess, and like,
Right.
and be like patient and be like, oh, like this guy, you know, is not like, an average person. Like, I can't just be a jerk and like, all right, you're weirding me out, you know what I mean, or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's like she's. So it's like that character I felt like understood the situation and treated him really nicely, like you said, cordially. So it's not like the characters in this universe don't get that Moose is a special needs case, but
Right. But
like they
yeah,
don't care.
there is characters that genuinely in here that are friendly to him. The comic book guy,
That guy.
the comic book store owner, he
Yeah.
is cordial to him. He treats him like like a human being.
Yeah.
His best friend Leah, she
Hmm.
doesn't seem like she just a pitier type of, oh, out of pity I'm friends with you. She literally seems like, hey, I'm friends with you, and
Hmm.
I want what's best for you. Um, and then like you said, that lady, the other actress, she didn't escalate the situation. It's just that he said something, and it caught the attention of the doorman, the
Hmm.
bouncer essentially, and the bouncer just threw him out. But in Moose's mind, she threw him out
Yeah.
as but it wasn't her. She never said anything or did anything to say that you are, beneath me.
Yeah.
Unlike Hunter Dunbar, who never displayed any bit of, hey, I'm your friend. It's cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, I understand misunderstandings or whatever. None of it.
Except
Hunter is a butthole the whole movie.
he only displays that towards the end when he's tricking, when he's trying to trick Moose into letting him free.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we went from the comic book. Well, we went to the book signing. He gets slighted. He did not get the autograph. So his friend Leah um, shows him star maps, and there's another subplot of these street magicians and pickpocketers. What
Oh
the
my
heck?
gosh.
Like, what
So
in the
much.
world? And
It
then,
doesn't
like,
even
this is what I
belong.
mean, like disjointedness of this movie,
Yeah.
because the guy was like had a fight with his friend, and the friend's like, "Fine, you can do this on your own." Da da da. He leaves, and the guy's like, "Hey, Moose, you gonna be with me today? We're gonna make some money. We're gonna do this." Moose like, "No, I don't want to do what you're doing. You're wrong." And then they go back to like working together and making fun of Moose and beating up on Moose, and then the next day he's like, "Hey Moose, we're gonna do this day, right?" I'm like, "What?"
So hold on, okay. Let's set this whole thing up. So evidently, the movie implies that Moose makes money as a costume character on Hollywood Boulevard, but
It's like a Bobby.
he dresses up as a British Bobby, which no one cares about because the movie basically the whole joke, I guess. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or if it's just Fred Durst not understanding how once again not understanding how special needs people are. The joke being that Moose is so stupid he doesn't understand that you have to dress up as an actual recognizable character. He's just dressed up as a British Bobby because you just figured, oh, that's it's a costume. Everyone's in a costume, and now I'm in a costume. Why is no one giving me money? That's the whole joke, and so I guess that's his job because we don't see him working anywhere else. And
How does he make money?
I don't know. He makes whatever he does. He's got a super nice apartment for like L.A. He lives
To be
in
a
like
Bobby?
he lives like in this really big garden level apartment that's full of like movie memorabilia. So like how he can you all right?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
How he can afford this garden level, this really spacious garden level LA apartment with all this movie memorabilia, presumably as a British Bobby on Hollywood Boulevard.
And a moped, no less. And a moped. He has
And
a
he has a
moped.
moped. Yeah.
Oh,
Is crazy to me. And so yeah, there's a whole subplot where he's on Hollywood Boulevard trying to earn money by pretending to be a British Bobby with a bad British accent. I have a theory that this was John Travolta's idea, but actually, like, was the British Bobby thing. Like, I feel like this might have been something he came on set with. It was like, this is what Moose would dress like, right? Because he doesn't get it.
yeah. I mean, and maybe Fred Durst actually said, "Well, we'll have him dressed like a moose." And then John Travolta's like, "No. I got something better. What if he
Yeah.
dressed like a British Bobby and has an accent?" Because maybe John wanted to try out the accent
I
right
think
then
that
and there.
that might have been true. I think we see now if this had been written competently. What would make sense is he would be dressed up as a character that Hunter Dunbar played in one of his movies, like with the vest, like whatever that vampire movie is. He could be dressed with that vest, and he could be doing lines from that movie, and like no one gets it. Like that's why people ignore him and don't pay him money because they don't understand. Because Hunter Dunbar is at this point so obscure, no one knows who he is
Yeah,
except John Travolta's
Moose,
character.
Moose, and the shop owner and Leah. Anybody
And
that is
nerds.
in close proximity to Moose knows who Hunter Dunbar is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we talk about his vest. So when he gets his vest, he puts the vest on. Like this is just another thing. He puts the vest on backwards, like
Yeah.
to show warriors.
Yeah.
Just it's just like, and when that happened, I was like, my first thought was why, and I was like maybe so I could take a picture with it, but no, he's just like riding around with the vest on backwards. I'm like, okay, all right, so that's the thing, and then so he finds out from Leah where like he knows like where all celebrities live. He mentions Ben Affleck, he mentions several other people, but he finds out where Hunter Dunbar lives and goes to Hunter's house, and it is peering outside of the I think he's peering outside of the gate, and this is when Hunter is running with his son, on the bike, and Hunter explodes on him again.
Yeah.
Hunter essentially is Limp Bizkit's music in human form.
Well, it's funny you should say that because one of my favorite scenes in the movie, I can't believe this was in the movie. This was something that when it happened, I was like, this can't be happening. Is this happening? Like, there's a scene where Hunter Dunbar is driving his son to school, and Limp Bizkit is playing on the radio, and he turns it up, and he's like, "Hey, you know who this is? It's Limp Bizkit. Pretty cool, huh?" And like,
He's like,
they
his
listen,
son's like, yeah.
they sit there and listen to Limp Bizkit for like maybe a full minute of the movie, and it's a pointless scene other than that, and like it's like this pointless, self-indulgent scene for Fred Durst to be able to go, haha, because I'm Limp Bizkit, get it?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And yeah, you're right. And also, with that being said, most of the movie takes place around Moose. Moose being there, Moose being in the house, Moose being, walking around. You have Moose, but in that scene, it's so disjointed because Moose was nowhere in that scene until like you see him walking home. Like this is after. So this is after something has happened. All right, so Moose goes up to the house, leaves a letter, spooks the maid, which he thinks it's his wife,
yeah,
and spooks her. Um, and this is what I'm talking about. There's another disjointed scene, and that is so much to unpack, Craig. My brain is like but overloading. But so Moose leaves the letter. He writes a letter to Hunter saying that you was mean to me. You should have gave me an autograph, and I don't like you no more. And treat your friends, treat your fans nicer, essentially, and leaves it. Love Moose. Leaves
yeah,
leaves it, and then so the housekeeper sees this man on the property, shoos him away. He runs, and then she there's another scene where she's talking to Hunter. Hey, there's a guy that came on your property. He's like, don't worry about it, whatever. Then there's another subplot that goes nowhere with, oh, I kissed the maid again.
yeah. They they imply that Hunter Dunbar has had an affair with the maid, and that doesn't really go anywhere at all. I mean, except maybe to further, you know, to further implicate him later when he gets, spoilers when he gets arrested for her murder.
Oh,
But
yes. And then there's so much to unpack. All right. So that scene happened. Then the next scene is this is the next scene. This is like all within the same day. I believe it's the same day. The he tells the gardener, "Hey, keep an eye out on some strange man on the property." The gardener's like, "All right, but is it cool if I leave? Is it cool if I've done it with my work? Can I go home? Or the rain happened? Can I go home?" And dude's like, "Yeah." Hunter's like, "Yeah, go home. That's fine." And then like he leaves, and then Moose sneaks back to the property. I think it's the same day.
I think so too, because I think that was the whole reason for us to be privy to the gardener getting a early day off. I can't think of any other reason why the movie would like go out of its way to tell us like that he wanted to leave early.
So the gardener leaves. Moose is looking and sees the maid come outside again, and she finds the letter. She goes to pick up this letter. That's like, where does this come from? And open it. And then like Moose is like, no, 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 don't open the letter. It's not for you. It's for Hunter. And scares him. She starts beating him, and he's like, no, stop, stop, stop. Just And I think that what she's doing, I can understand why she would do it, but also I think that that's overreacting too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just be like, what do you want? And then he can say, "That's letters for Hunter. Will you give it to him?" Or something like that. Fine, I'll give it to him. Leave,
Yeah, yeah.
But she's like beats on him, and then like I don't know if he like swats at her, but she like she stumbles and like hits her head on this. She hits her head on this bird bath.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you got a nosebleed. That's bad. That's bad. You got a nosebleed. You're You don't want to lean your head back and this is Craig. This is the part. No one else mentions this dead body until the end of the movie. This man
Yeah.
goes into the house, and several days pass, and everything, and nobody mentions this dead body
It's just
on
been
the back
sitting there.
line.
Yeah. Mhm.
This
Oh
shit's
man.
dead
Yeah.
on the line the whole time for the rest of the movie, and
Yeah.
multiple days has passed. But in this scene, he goes back to he goes into Hunter's house, and boy, does he have his way with I messaged you because there's a point where he takes Hunter's toothbrush and smells it and puts it in his mouth. Does he puts it in his mouth, don't he?
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
What in the world, Craig? What in the world?
You
And he
wanted
literally grabs some antlers just for this reason. The antlers are in the house for the. He would say, "Moose is in the house. Moose is in the house."
Oh my god. Yeah, I completely forgot about that scene because there's just so much stupid shit in this movie that something as like blatantly stupid as that is almost forgettable because like you almost kind of take it for granted. Like, okay, yeah, he put on antlers so he could run around saying that. Okay, but why has anyone found the dead maid yet? You're just sort of like
Like
it's
he literally, after the maid dies, he like strolls past the maid's body out on the front line, not like
mm,
hidden behind a shed, not like under a crawl space, but on the front line. He
yeah.
strolls past the body and goes into the house and
Mhm.
stays in the house all day
Yeah.
and all night and spends the night in the house. There's a point where Hunter comes in and Hunter's talking and stuff like that, and he's hiding in the closet. Then at one point he's hiding. He is moving through the house, Greg. He's hiding
Yeah.
beneath the kid's bed. He he is then at one point because Hunter is passed out in the recliner. He sits next to Hunter and kisses his forehead and posts a picture on social media. Craig, this man should be arrested. What in the
Yeah.
world? I was like watching this like in shock. I was like, why? Why
He
is this happening? And
he
then
didn't he
and
post a picture.
I thought maybe he was holding the pictures himself, but then Craig, we find out no, he posts them to his social media.
Didn't he post a picture of himself kissing Hunter on the head? Like
Yeah. And his friend Leah calls him out, like, hey, what are you doing taking these pictures at Hunter's house? You're in his house. You're literally kissing. What are you doing? And he says, I'm blocking you, Leah. So the pictures aren't deleted. They are still on his social media. He just blocked him. He just blocked
Yeah.
Leah. Didn't take
Yeah.
him down. Didn't destroy the evidence.
Yeah.
Just blocked one person from seeing them, but the rest of the world assumably see these incriminating photos.
Here's what's funny. The reason why the maid's dead body is just never found until the end of the movie, the whole reason like they wrote it that way is because Fred Durst was like, man, I got this awesome twist, like because like Moose is gonna like accidentally kill the maid, but when the gardener finds the maid, he's going to think Hunter did it, and Hunter's going to go down for it, and that's the twist. And Moose gets away with it, and I'm like, yeah, but the maid is going to be around. So how are you going to explain the maid being dead on the grass for that many days? B, it could be easily proven that like Hunter's story could easily be proven. Like once he tells the police what happened, you've got fingers, you've got pictures.
But you got DNA. There's DNA in the house. There's someone else's DNA in the house. There
Someone
was
else's
no reason
blood.
for Hunter to have been arrested. Like,
Yeah.
like Hunter would have said, "Thank God you're here, officer. There's this crazy guy that broke into my house, had me tied up. Let's go upstairs. You see where I was tied up at?
Yeah.
Here's his blood.
Yeah.
This is, yeah. It's like, and that's the thing that got me. Like, that's why I said no one would ever believe that Hunter murdered this maid. Like there was no indication at all. If there is a part in the movie, and this is good filmmaking, Fred Durst, and film writing. If there is a part in the movie where the maid and Hunter was interacting, and he gets a little rough with her, and the gardener sees it, then the gardener can be like, Hunter is abusive to this lady.
Yeah. Or he could overhear them talking about their affair, or watch them kissing, like walked in on them while kissing. So, he could be like, oh, that's why Hunter must have killed her,
Why would the gardener immediately jump to the conclusion that Hunter must have killed this? And when did the gardener find the body? When did the gardener find the body? And he just went to the police immediately and said, no, he must have did it. The gardener went home for the one day. Did he not come back for 2 or 3 days that she's on the line?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
So many plot holes.
So
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna get to the part where Moose ties up Hunter and all that stuff. So he ties up Hunter Dunbar and then starts I think we're supposed to be feeling, I don't know if we're supposed to be feeling bad or threatened by, if we're supposed to be feeling sorry for Hunter or threatened by Moose. It doesn't
I think it's what he wanted.
I think that's what Fred Durst wanted, but I didn't feel that way at all. When Moose came in with the knife, I was like, that's not a real knife. There ain't no way that he's not going to actually stab him with a knife. Because at no point I feel like even when Moose accidentally murders that lady, it wasn't with any sort of ill intent. He's not like. And then when he chokes that one dude, the street performer that was making fun of him, the guy was making fun of him. It was a immediate angry response. It wasn't a premeditated attack. So at no point did I feel like Moose was the kind of person to methodically put on a Jason Voorhees costume and actually stab a human being with a real knife,
Correction. He puts on a Jason Voorhees mask and a Michael Myers jumpsuit. He successfully mixed the two different properties from 2 different studios into one character.
As people often do. So let me real quick. I'm going to warn you. So at some point during this podcast, I might be interrupted because I just won a free cocktail from my friend Gracie Taylor, who's a really talented actress. She has a stream that she does called Gracie Works From Home. She's also a very talented bartender, which used to be her day job until COVID. And so she started this thing called Gracie Works From Home, where she shows people how to make these cocktails. And you can win you can win a raffle where she will bring you the cocktail she makes. And I entered, not really expecting to win, but of course I did on the day that I'm recording this. So it could be a fun interruption if she just shows up and here's your cocktail.
That's fine. Hey, and you know what? And after watching this movie, you would need a drink. But yeah, so I want to mention that you mentioned briefly that. So he does blow up on the street performer and chokes him out. Not chokes him out, but chokes him with force. Yeah. And it's because the street performer was making fun of him, talking about him, when he was abused by him the night before. In the disjointed scene that just showed him getting abused, and the next day he's like, "Hey, buddy, you gonna work with me?"
Keep talking. But, I'm listening.
Yeah. But in that scene, there's a scene where the 2 street performers, one of them kind of looks like Jason Mewes, and the other guy literally would look like Fred Durst, but they made Moose get down on his knees and act like he was doing something. They was interrupted by I guess a security guard named Dick, and so why was his name Dick? I don't know. They could just call him security guard, but they gave him a name anyway. So Dick interrupts them, and then the next day when Moose was choking the guy out, and then Moose is walking away mad, frustrated, heated. Dick is like, he said, oh, I'm sorry. Am I in trouble? And listen, this is after Moose has murdered a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and the woman's body's still on the line. This is a different day, and Moose thinks he's in trouble for just choking the other guy because it hasn't clicked in his head that he murdered a woman. That hasn't clicked in his head.
Yeah.
He thinks that she's hurt with a bloody nose and maybe unconscious, but he doesn't realize that she's dead. And so he says to the Dick, he's like, am I going to jail for choking him or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
He said, no, man, I'm proud of you. So you're proud of me? Yeah, you stood up for yourself. I'm going to stand up for myself more with everybody that treated me bad. And then, that's when he decides to go tie up old Devin Sawa for bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in that scene, Devin's tied up to a bed, and Moose comes in with a retractable blade, stabs at him a few times, and pretty much just tells him, "Hey, man, you're a mean person, and you should be nicer." And then and so all I wanted was an autograph, and Hunter's like, "Oh, I'll give you an autograph. I sign whatever you want me to sign. I got da 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 da." And finally gets him, like you said. This whole time, I guess we're supposed to be fearful of Moose. Yeah. But the whole time, I'm thinking, Moose, do not untie this man.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. The whole time, I'm like, no. Don't untie this guy. Because he hasn't shown anything at all that shows I am a redeeming person. Other than maybe his interaction with his son. But that's not enough to put me in Camp Hunter in this movie.
Absolutely not. And so he unties Hunter, and of course Hunter attacks him immediately. And now, okay, this part of the movie, so for the most part, I was sort of like snide, for the most part while watching this movie, I was laughing at the movie and just rolling my eyes and sort of snide about John Travolta's performance in general and all this stuff. But I will say, for better or worse, I actually really liked John Travolta's performance in this scene, because when he gets attacked by Hunter, like Hunter fucking, I mean, it's brutal. Like he shoots Moose's fingers off, like basically shoots his whole hand in half or something like that, with a gun. And then while Moose is trying to escape, Hunter stalks him with a knife and like knocks him down, like knocks him on his back, and then stabs him in the eye with a knife. And like Moose is just writhing on the ground, bleeding and crying, like weeping uncontrollably. And he says something like, "I just liked your movies." Like, I just really liked your movies.
I'm a fan. I'm your biggest fan.
And like, I actually felt bad. Like, I felt like such a Markout movie podcast. Oh, over here. Markout movie podcast. I felt like such a mark, because I was like, I know that this is a terrible performance and that this is a horrible movie with a stupid plot, and that everything that just happened here was really stupid and absurd. But I feel bad because, like, up to this point, despite John Travolta's performance, I felt like Moose, like I said, I kind of saw Moose's character as a child, right. With a man's body. And so when he gets violently attacked, like he is, and like, and he's like just left weeping on the ground, I was like, oh, my heart actually kind of broke a little bit for him. I was like, oh, this is just sad now.
I felt that way too. Like I felt bad for him. I felt really bad for him. Like the moment that he was untying him, and Devin was talking about, we're gonna go get ice cream. We're gonna get ice cream. Yeah, we're gonna get chocolate ice cream. He's like, chocolate ice cream? he said, no, strawberry. He said, oh yeah, strawberry. That's the best, man. Yeah, we're gonna get strawberry ice cream. We're gonna sit downstairs and watch some of my movies and just laugh, you and me. And at the same time, John Travolta is cuddling up to Devin Sawa. He's cuddling with him. And then like when he gets free, he blows off John Travolta's fingers, and then eventually kicks him down the stairs, takes a knife and stabs him in the eye. And then at the same time, he's like, you will not come here no more. You will da 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 da. And he said something, and he says, repeat after me. But he repeated exactly what he just said. He said, no. Repeat and say you will not come in here, or something like that. Yeah. He said, I will not come here no more. I'm so sorry. And then he helps him up. David helps him up and lets him out the front door and shuts the door behind him. And it's like,
and I'm like,
and I was like, what was? I was like, what was the point? What was the point of that?
It was so pitiful.
And it just is your drink here?
No. It's going to be here in probably about 10 minutes. So I'm just like antsy, like, whoa, is it here yet?
So he literally shuts the door on him, and then the narrator, I think, picks up again. It's just for some reason. Says, I didn't feel bad for what happened to Moose or Hunter, but I felt bad for what happened to the maid.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? No one else remembered the maid except for me watching this movie and you. It's like, the maid is there the whole time, guys.
Yeah.
And she's like, but what about the maid? And then that's when we get to the point where Devin is arrested. Hunter is arrested for the murder of the maid.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we can assume that Moose got off scot-free, and because Leah finds him, and then the next thing, because there was like little cartoons animated throughout the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the next scene was Moose now dressed like a pirate. So I guess his new bit on Hollywood Boulevard is to be a pirate with a missing hand and a missing eye. That's what my assumption is.
I would say that that's a step up from a British Bobby, because at least, it might be Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. Like, at least it's somewhat recognizable.
Well, the kids seen him. Like, oh man, that's a cool outfit, bro, and took a picture of him. And he's like bleeding and maimed.
Yeah.
And so he took a picture of him. But let me. So there's a part, and I missed this. There's so much to unpack, where you think that Moose is dead and killed himself in front of Hunter, but then he stands up and says, "You just got jigsawed." You remember that scene?
You said you just got jigsawed? Wait, what happened?
Yeah, so there's a scene where Moose, like when Hunter wakes up tied up.
Oh, yeah.
Moose's body with blood. And he's like, no,
right.
You did that. You killed yourself? Oh, you idiot. And he's like, no, you just got jigsawed.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. God, yeah.
And he was like, what is going on?
There's so much to remember.
So much. There was like so many different movies. Did Fred Durst get the rights to even mention these movies? But okay. Anyway, this movie. So that's the end of the movie. My goodness, what a train wreck. Yes, yeah. John Travolta. I mean, was entertaining because John Travolta, you could tell he really liked the role, and he like leapt into the role with both feet. Mm-hmm. But Devin was terrible. Devin was, I don't know. Fred Durst cannot direct. I hope he never does it again. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my gosh. What was this movie, Craig? What was it? What was this?
I don't understand it either. Like, I feel like this was made, because it was written by Fred Durst. That's the big part. Like, as far as the direction is concerned, the movie is competently directed. Like, it looks fine. Like it looks fine. It's edited well. So there's that. So on a technical level, it's not bad necessarily, but like the key is that it was written also by Fred Durst. So that's mostly where the weird bad shit comes from. And I feel like this had to be his like response to weird fans that he's dealt with before. Like I feel like Moose is like an amalgamation of every fan that Fred Durst has dealt with.
And he is Hunter. But why does he then have himself arrested at the end of the movie? It's just like somewhere in his process of writing his script, he said, "You know what would be great is if at the end I have Hunter, I pull M. Night Shyamalan, and Hunter is arrested for the murder, and Moose is set free. That'd be great." No, that won't be great. That makes absolutely no sense. This movie makes no sense. The movie makes no sense.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is the movie makes no sense, and I am blown away. But it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. That is that is the one that you told me to watch with the guy who is killing all his neighbors. That movie. Yeah, there you go. Kill Spree. That was the one. That's the best movie I've ever seen that's a bad movie. But this movie I was entertained, and I was entertained as if not entertained. I was in awe as if like you've seen a car wreck and you can't look away. That's what it was for me. But we can go ahead and give us our final thoughts and then our marks on it. Final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. It's just a really bizarre, terribly written movie with like really bad choices. Bad choices were made. And no one was around to help unmake them. And I think I think John Travolta signed on to this movie with Oscars in his eyes. He thought this was. It's funny because like I thought Tropic Thunder had put this to rest. Like I thought like Tropic Thunder had taught.
Oh, you went away, Craig. Oh, he went away. Oh well, Craig left me. I'm gonna try to get him back. But yeah, so my thoughts on the movie as I try to get Craig back into the mix is that the movie failed to really just put a good narrative together, and that's Fred Durst's fault. Fred Durst did that. He's the one that did that. There he is. What happened to you, buddy?
I was just be funny if it popped back online and I was dead and like Gracie was like holding a knife, like, oops. I didn't realize you were recording. He won. He won the cocktail. No, so what I was saying was like, I felt like John Travolta should have learned from excuse me, Tropic Thunder to never, they joked around about how playing a mentally handicapped character is like every actor's attempt to be an Oscar winner, and so once like a movie makes fun of something like that and jokes around about stuff like that, I feel like as an actor, you gotta it should change the paradigm where actors like, well, I definitely don't want to take that mentally handicapped role anymore because now I'm gonna be compared to Simple Jack and Tropic Thunder, So, but I guess John Travolta didn't get that memo, and he went for it anyway.
This man a lot of money to be in this movie, and probably getting I don't know, but yeah, my takeaway from it is that it was entertaining in the sense of, like I said, seeing something that's tragic happening, and like I can't believe I'm watching what I'm watching. But it's nothing I would recommend to anybody that wants to see a good movie. But if you want to see a movie that will leave you like, what did I just watch? Watch this. I don't give it bad ratings, so I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 markouts out of 5 because in the sense of I was entertained about how bad it was, and so I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored with it. I was just like more or less like shocked at what I've seen.
Yeah, I think I'll get that the same. I think I can agree with that sentiment. It's definitely a so bad it's good type movie.
Yeah. Next week, I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm either we're gonna look at some old videos that we did, or I'll talk to Craig and see if you've seen there's a movie that I was gonna ask you if you've seen some type of rare imports or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's rare exports. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's a fun one.
We may do that because I was going to see do another Christmas one before Christmas comes up.
That's a good one.
But yeah, if not, then we'll do what I was going to do. But yeah, this is it for this broadcast. His Frank is coming. Aaron Whitlow,
Craig Williams.
Thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie Podcast. And enjoy the drink and get your